Because idea is very simple. We are a society, even if we are rich, we do not have multiple televisions or multiple bikes or like this. So the demand has to come from, unless you broad base, urban area only 25% people. How? So that is where the miscalculation was theirs. And immediately the industrialists were that time pleading with the government, do something for the dual demand, do something for the dual demand. And today that understanding has to come from, okay, if you have to sustain, and they're also very realistic. Let us be very realistic that 7 to 7.5% growth which we can achieve. Not be very over ambitious, just through numbers like, yeah, we can go by 10%, 9%, it doesn't make sense. You make some realistic target, and then to sustain it, you must think of what to do. So unless you broad base the demand, you cannot sustain the 7 and 7.5% growth. So demand has to come from the rural area. So rural area, then how do you generate demand? Of course, again you have to spend on rural infrastructure, you have to strengthen the agriculture, okay, and you provide jobs to the rural people, landless workers, okay. So that's the understanding that we have in of the economist perspective on this budget. Second thing, that many of us who don't understand the government, budget should not be all about taxes. Every time we build up an expectation that something should be there in taxes. It's not about taxes. Fiscal policy has two aspects. You look at both taxes and expenditure part, which I have already explained, that there are many good things. There are some good, concerns about adverse implications, but overall, you consider these dimensions of the spending and the taxes, then you end up with a qualitative aspect of the fiscal policy. Expenditure, look at the numbers, they are very prudent in spending. Expenditure management, there is a commission, I think 2-3 weeks back, Dr. Jalan, ex-governor of RBI, and he's heading the expenditure commission. I was looking at those numbers. Actually, this government has not overshot first time expenditure targets. Even though there has been shortfall on the revenue, tax revenue, and they have been able to mobilize non-tax revenue, but the good thing is that they have not overshot the expenditure targets. Quite control over the expenditure. A government which is, has maneuverability in managing the spending, is a great sign. Okay. So then what happens? They have the vision, very medium and long term. Structural change, you need actually structural reforms, and these reforms come through this process. I think that's what the budget is focused. And medium and long term, don't be very short term. Okay, for this year, let me live for the today, tomorrow I don't know. This is not, many governments, when they do this short term kind of objective, then the society suffers, because the nation never, the nation stands for long term. A government may stand for the short term, but the government should understand that, look, they are for the nation, which is a long term, and medium term objective should be pursued. Of course, there are some short term priorities, but when you do public policy, do it with a focus for which the nation will progress over the long and medium term. I think that's the thing what this budget reflects, long-term stability and of course quality. And interesting thing, that's a view that FRBM Act, which is to be reviewed. We are so much hypersensitive to some numbers. If fiscal deficit goes by say 0.1%, a lot of hype, media news. Okay, what is the sanctity of a number? Okay, something which was done a decade ago, decade ago, and that's very interesting. The government has thought of that to be reviewed. Let us not commit to, be very sensitive to something just number. Look at the overall whole lot of gamut of things that government is involved. Okay, and you forget everything, then you look at the fiscal deficit number. Okay, so that doesn't work. And I think that's a good sign that the government is thinking of reviewing this committee, FRBM Act. This is what I understood. Finally, conclusion, what an economist will say on the economy. Very simple. In a Keynesian framework, you can think of the fiscal multiplier. And that is, if there no changes in taxes, or almost tax neutral this budget is, then what happens? No adverse implications on consumption. Then what happens? The multiplier, fiscal multiplier, is as effective as earlier. Okay? Thanks a lot from my perspective.